As I was designing and planning this build, I came across a lot of tools, toys, and supplies that I thought I was going to need. Since a lot of these were new to me, I thought they might be new to you as well, and so I just made a quick video listing them and showing why I thought I might need them and how I'm going to use them. So I hope this is useful to some of you who aren't familiar with this stuff. Talk to you later. I just wanted to go through a bunch of the stuff that I've bought in preparing to convert this van. This is going to be quick, but this first one is one of my favorite toys actually that I bought. It's an endoscope, and the reason I bought it is so that I can really poke it into crevices that you can't see otherwise in the van. I'm looking for ventilation holes, for example, on the driver's side and the passenger side, and I have to stick this thing down through the shell of the van and see what's down there, so if I drill a hole that I don't run into something. I'm also going to use it to investigate putting a hole through my firewall, because I have to connect my alternator and engine battery to my coach battery. So this is kind of neat. It works pretty well. I got it a little cheaper than this. I got it for $24, so I think you can find it on sale at certain times. Next thing I got was a Nibbler, and this is slick too. I encourage you to come down here and actually maybe I'll just play this a little bit. Oh, there you go. Which are YT160A, YT160. So that gives you the idea. Basically what it does is it allows you to cut sheet metal. And since my roof rack, I'm going to enclose it with sheet metal. I'm going to need to cut it and shape it, and this looks like a good way to do that. It cuts aluminum a lot easier than it cuts steel. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to use this cutting anything on the van. Perhaps. I think I might be able to cut through the roof with it, but anyway, that's what I got. And then this is a RivNut gun, and if you're not familiar with RivNuts, what they are is it's a rivet that you can drill a hole in a piece of metal, like the back of the cargo van someplace, and you insert a rivet in there and squeeze the gun to make the rivet solid. But this rivet is different because it's a nut, so that you can actually screw a bolt into that rivet. So that allows you to attach things to thin steel, that you couldn't otherwise thread, or it's really awkward or inconvenient to get a nut behind that, and the nut might come loose, for that matter. So the RivNut is a great tool for doing that kind of thing. Now, in places where I do have sufficient material, so for example, I'm going to be using a fair amount of 1/4-inch aluminum in this build, and what I want to be able to do is to create threads inside holes that I drill in the aluminum. And so I bought a tap and die set to do that. This is Noico. This is the deadener that you put on the sides of the van in order to reduce the rattling. So I bought a fair amount of that I'll apply liberally. And then I also got some of this sound deadener stuff, which I'm going to put on the floor in the back, because I've got a very bumpy, lots of ripples and things in there, and so I'm going to have to put this in to even out the floor basically, and it will also help with the sound and the insulation. I bought a bunch of clamps because, as I said, I'm going to be building a lot of stuff with aluminum, and I'm going to be gluing a lot of this aluminum, and my vision of this, I hope it works out, is to be able to put this stuff together using clamps, and then put the whole thing together using clamps, and then very quickly apply glue to all of the joints, and then replace the clamp, and so that I can do a lot of gluing all at one time. So anyway, that's the idea. We'll see how it works out. A drill stop set is really a good idea because we're going to be drilling lots of holes, and we don't want those holes to, we don't want the drill to drill too deep into the shell. You know, I don't want to poke a hole in the side of the van or anything. This is the Lizardskin. This is a ceramic insulation paint that I'm going to apply before I do any other kind of insulation. So I'm going to be spraying this all over the inside of the back of the van and in the holes wherever I can reach. And this is how I'm going to tell if it's working. I bought this thermometer temperature gun. So as you can see, I'm kind of having fun with this. You know, these are things that I've never had before, but you know, this gives me an excuse to play with all these toys. But anyway, this will allow me to see where my hot spots are, my cold spots, you know, where I've got leaks in the insulation, and etc., etc. Now, this is the paint gun that I'm going to use to apply this Lizardskin. It's pretty thick, you know, so you have to have a kind of a special gun to do it. Didn't cost too much money. And then I'm going to be back in the back of that van enclosed in there, so I want a little bit of protection. I even bought myself a monkey suit, you know, to wear in there. And I'm going to be using a lot of magnets, you know, to attach things all over the back of the van, so I thought this looked like a pretty good deal. These are not the really strong super magnets, but I wanted to try them out and see if they work well enough. Here's the fridge I bought, and the reason I put this up is because this isn't Amazon. I found Amazon was quite a bit more expensive than these folks. Amazon, it was over $1,000, and this is $847 here. This is a dual zone refrigerator. Dometic is, you know, after reading all of the reviews, you know, and I've concluded that it's probably the best and the lowest electrical usage that I could find with a dual zone, a freezer compartment and a refrigerator compartment. And I also bought a Maxxair fan from these folks. This price was better than any place else I could find. One thing I did not get in this was the cover that you see on most of these Maxxair fans that allows you to keep it open in the rain. So this has an automatic rain sensor. It closes the vent when it senses rain, and it's got a remote control. And the reason I did that was because it has a lower profile actually than when it's closed than the other one, and that is something that I'm going to be very sensitive to because of I need this van to fit in my garage, and I'm close on the clearances there. I don't want anything sticking up too much. This is the sink that I bought, and this is kind of slick. This is what it looks like. It will I can attach that to the side of the van. And what's interesting about this is if you get this sink anywhere else, this is from a commercial restaurant store, web-storant, and look, it's only $70. I mean, if I were to buy this sink from Home Depot or something like this, it would probably cost me a heck of a lot more. So I'm interested in getting that. It's really, you know, even though I haven't been able to do a lot of the preliminary work on the van, I'm still buying all of this stuff because I want to get it in hand so that I can look at it, I can make all the measurements, I can decide exactly how it's going to attach, and that's really hard to do unless you've actually got the equipment with you. Now this is the solar equipment stuff that I bought. Pretty expensive from Battleborn, but you know, they're high quality. This was the Explorist.life bundle, so I got a little bit of a discount on this. I got 10% off of this stuff, and I'm anxious to get that in there and get it fired up. So, and then also through Explorist.life, this is Nate's wiring diagram, which was pretty cool. You know, he's done a lot of work in showing you how to connect all of this stuff together, and even has included, you know, a shopping list with links to his Amazon store, of course, but nevertheless very convenient. So I'm looking at that closely, and I'll probably be following that quite a bit. And then finally, this is the PV panel that I'm looking at. This is the best deal I could find. It's a Hanwha from Northern Arizona Wind and Sun. I've talked to these folks a couple of times, and I'm settling on this. It's not the most efficient on the market, but the cost per watt is lower than this one has an efficiency of let's see, where's it at? 19.9%, and you can get another one which costs twice as much, and the efficiency is about between 20 and 21%. So you don't get a lot more efficiency. And that one, it gave you 40 more watts. It was a 360 watt panel instead of 320 watts. I've determined, with my analysis, that 320 watts should be fine for me. So I'm going to go with this lower cost panel. Now, one kicker I want to warn you about is that you don't get these things through UPS or the post office. They have to be shipped to you on a truck, and the quote to ship it from Northern Arizona and from Flagstaff to Las Vegas was something like $280. So holy cow, you got a $203 purchase, you're going to pay $280 shipping. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm going to drive down there, 4-hour drive to pick it up. But that's something to consider when you're looking at the prices of PV panels. The cost of shipping will kill you on these things. So that's pretty much it for this. I'm anxious to start doing some real work here, and that'll start as soon as the weather warms up, to be quite honest. That's what's keeping me from doing a lot of stuff, like the painting, for example. I need to have it to be about 70 degrees outside, because I don't have an indoor place to do any painting, and that's going to be the first step, basically, in being able to start, doing a lot of stuff inside the van. So anyway, I'll talk to you later.